Hello, and it's 3 o'clock. Welcome to your hourly Solent Sports news update. In today's edition, we're going to be looking at the future of Chelsea as it could be at risk. The club must be sold within the next 81 days, otherwise it could cease to exist. Off the pitch, the club is a complete mess, but on it, it's business as usual, as the Blues cruised past Norwich 3-1 last night. It's believed there could be up to 10 interested parties at this time, but Thomas Tuchel isn't distracted and has praised his side for staying focused.
Distraction, another level of distraction actually with the sanctions, and we could feel it, that the players talk about it, that they're aware of it, and we accepted it. But like I said, I think the rhythm and the excitement and the love for the game in general helps us.
Well, that was Thomas Tuchel, and now the Times chief sports correspondent Matt Lawton joins us now. Matt, this is quite unprecedented, isn't it?
It is. It's an extraordinary situation. Certainly nothing like I've seen in 30 years as a sports journalist. But it's what needed to happen. The fact that Jurgen Klopp today has said, look, not great for Chelsea this, but the government are right to do what they've done. I've been speaking to an MP this afternoon who actually says the government needs to go a step further, not just freeze the asset, but seize it, because that will be the only way that the government can ensure that the money is paid. The proceeds of the sale of Chelsea don't go to Abramovich, and the only way they can be sure of that is if they're in complete control of the transaction. So, no, it is extraordinary. I think yesterday was one of the more remarkable days of my career. From sort of 8 o'clock in the morning when we first got wind that the government was about to impose these sanctions and actually block the sale of the club, to the sponsor, the main shirt sponsor, pulling the plug hours later, just before they were playing at Norwich. It's an amazing period in our history.
And it's an incredibly precarious position for Chelsea to be in. And the question everyone is asking is, will Chelsea go bust?
If they don't get a buyer fairly quickly, then I think there is a real danger that they could do. The fact of the matter is they are blocked from access to Abramovich's considerable wealth. He's worth about £9 billion. At the moment, they are blocked from selling the club. I do think by next week they will be granted a second licence. It will come with heavy restrictions, but I think they will be given a licence that will enable the sale of the club to go ahead. Still going to find somebody. I'm not saying that they are comparable, but look how difficult it is that Derby County are finding it to find a buyer at the moment. Chelsea is very attractive in certain respects. They're the European and World Club champions. It's probably the most glamorous location of any football club in the country. But there are issues around it. The fact of the matter is, redeveloping the stadium, you've got to account for at least another $1 billion because of all the issues you have with infrastructure, the fact that it's built over a tube station. It's a civil engineering nightmare, and the fact that you've got the Chelsea pitch owners, the fact the fans own the pitch, they can't move from Stamford Bridge, and further to that is the simple truth that as a business it loses about £100 million a year. So once, it was only at the start of the week that the NDAs were sent out by this merchant bank in New York to all these potential bidders. Once they get into the nitty-gritty, once they get into the accounts, it will be very interesting to see how much these billionaires in America and in Europe are actually prepared to pay. Now, the fact that Abramovich has written off the loan, or says he's written off the loan that he's owed £1.5 billion, he could sell it for 50 quid. So, I think they will find a buyer. But they need to find a buyer before the end of the season, because if they don't, they're going to run into trouble very quickly.
Very interesting, very informative. Matt, thank you very much for giving up your time to us. We really appreciate you speaking to us here on Solent Sports News.
No problem.
Next up then, what about the players? Well, here's last night's goal scorer and academy graduate, Mason Mount.
It's not been easy, of course. You see what's happening behind the scenes and everything that's going on. It can be at times hard to focus. But as you said, I thought we've been brilliant, and especially today with everything that's happened away from the pitch.
Well, Mount is a boyhood Chelsea fan, but what about the supporters in the stands? We caught up with a couple outside Stamford Bridge.
Obviously, I think he deserves the sanctions, because if he is involved with it, then it's horrible. But it's unfortunate for the football club to be affected by something that, frankly, has nothing to do with football.
Well, we're going to get some more informative knowledge now. Jordi Sunyer-Capella is a broadcast journalist, football commentator and author. You've probably seen a remarkable amount during your career in football, but this must be completely new.
Yeah, the thing is, we are talking about the possible winding up of the champions of Europe, but from a European or a Barcelona point of view, everything that matters right now for them is signings, because, as you know, Andreas Christensen has an agreement signed with Barcelona for the next probably 5 years, as Mundo Deportivo stated today. César Azpilicueta has got an automatic renewal clause, but Chelsea cannot sign or sell or renew players. So is he coming also to Barcelona? Those are the main key issues in Barcelona right now about all this Chelsea crisis, which is remarkable.
It is a truly remarkable situation. Jordi, thank you very much for taking the time to join us as well. We've just about run out of time there, but thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you in an hour's time.